It's unfortunately fitting to have a conference on adaptation to climate change on a day that's going to break temperature record, warm record.
This year, Montreal saw many extreme climate events like deep freezes, an ice storm, tornado warnings, torrential rain, flooding, forest fires, extreme heat, including right now, the first week of October. This as the city is hosting the largest global conference on adaptation to climate change. Over 1,500 global experts in climate change adaptation, along with politicians and citizens, are at the Palais des Congrès for the 7th edition of the Adaptation Futures conference.
It clearly illustrates that climate change is well installed. There's representatives here from 120 countries, and they all came with the same message. They see freaky weather, they see warm weather, they see extreme, they see drought, flooding, etc.
Back in my community and noticing the changes in the ice, like a lot of our traditions are changing too, and it is frightening for the older generations and the younger generations, just because we don't know how this is going to impact our cultural ways, our traditions.
Over the next 2 years, the city of Montreal says it plans to build almost 30 parks and 400 sponge pavements to make them more resistant to heavy rainfall.
We need to continue that, and now with the sponge parks, it also brings another element, like how do we make sure that when we do new parks or in areas that are strategic, we create those sponge parks to support. And again, it doesn't solve everything, but it supports how we adapt the territory.
The Quebec government will grant nearly $11 million to support 15 projects in 9 French-speaking countries vulnerable to climate change.
We just confirmed a $10 million contribution for the Adaptation Fund. It's not our first contribution. We are at almost 33 million. It's a role that we wanted to play on the international level also.
Over the next few days, the conference looks to evaluate the landscape of adaptation challenges and opportunities.
There are limits to adaptation, and there are communities around the world, ecosystems around the world that are already dealing with irreversible impacts of climate change. And so that's part of the reality that we need to deal with. So there's a lot we can do to avoid these irreversible impacts.
It means that we can exchange with colleagues all over the world and compare solutions.
In Montreal, Alyssia Rubertucci, City News.